The rumor. The chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with voices, sharp and echoing under the high ceiling of glass and steel. Hundreds of rulers from different star systems sat in curved rows, their faces tense, their eyes glowing in strange colors. The council was used to hearing reports about trade, border conflicts, or pirate raids, but this time the atmosphere was different. Everyone had come because of one single word that traveled across the galaxy like fire: humans. Humans were supposed to be weak. For centuries, the council had seen them as newcomers, trapped in their small system near a yellow star. Their ships were slow, their weapons outdated, their fleets too small to be noticed. Whenever humans attended council gatherings, they were ignored or laughed at, their voices drowned by stronger empires. But now strange stories were spreading, carried by traders, mercenaries, and spies. They spoke about a ship, a human ship, one that should not exist. The first to speak was a tall alien with crystal skin, his voice ringing like breaking glass. We all know what these humans are. They are fragile. They cannot build ships that challenge us. The rumors are lies meant to frighten children. His words were proud, but his eyes betrayed unease. Another ruler, with long silver tendrils flowing from her head, leaned forward. Then explain the images, she said, and a hollow screen filled the chamber. Grainy footage appeared, captured by a scout vessel near a barren system. It showed a massive shadow crossing the stars. At first it looked like an asteroid, but then engines burned with blue light. The structure was too large, too advanced, too impossible. A human warship, murmurs spread across the chamber. Some dismissed it as a trick, a projection, or stolen alien technology. Others sat in silence, their faces pale, their hands trembling. The footage showed the ship turning slowly, revealing a surface covered in strange patterns like armor no one had seen before. No known design matched it. The Council's best databases could not classify it. The question grew louder in every mind. How had humans built this? A commander from the Outer Rim stood. His skin was rough and scaled, his voice low and heavy. My fleet followed this vessel. We tried to scan it. Our systems failed. It bent our signals like light through water. Nothing we sent returned the right data. The ship is invisible to our knowledge. And then it vanished into a jump. Not a standard jump. Not a warp gate. Something else. Something faster. The council broke into shouts. Voices clashed. Some claimed it was impossible. Others feared it was true. For 1,000 years, the galaxy had known its rules. The most powerful empires ruled with fleets that could crush weaker ones. The balance was steady. If humans now had something beyond that balance, everything would change. A thin alien with golden eyes hissed from his seat. If humans made this ship, then someone helped them. Some empire in this room has betrayed us. His words sent ripples of anger. Accusations filled the chamber, but fear was stronger than anger. No one wanted to admit the truth, that maybe humans had done this alone. On the edges of the chamber, ambassadors from smaller systems whispered nervously. They had dealt with humans before, and they remembered something the greater empires ignored. Humans were stubborn. Humans learned fast. When pushed, they did not break. They adapted. Some said they had seen it in history, how humans on Earth had once gone from simple machines to world-spanning empires in only centuries. What if they had carried that same will into the stars? The council leader, an ancient being whose body shimmered like flowing water, finally raised his hand. Silence fell. His voice was deep and calm, yet heavy with worry. We all agree on one fact. If this ship is real, then humanity has hidden its strength from us. They let us believe they were weak while they built something beyond our reach. He paused, letting his words sink into every corner of the hall. The question is, why now? Why reveal it now? The holoscreen flickered again. More images appeared, captured by long-range probes. A dark shape moved above a desert world, casting a shadow over mountains. The engines glowed like suns, leaving trails of blue fire across the horizon. Its size was clear, it dwarfed entire fleets. One ruler whispered what all were thinking. This ship should not exist. The council leader's gaze swept across the chamber. We must decide how to answer this. Do we treat the humans as equals, or do we strike before they grow stronger? His words were met with silence. No one dared to speak first because every ruler knew what the footage meant. Humanity had changed the game. Far away, beyond the council's knowledge, the human ship moved silently between the stars. Its engines hummed with a sound no alien could understand. Inside, humans stood at their stations, watching as their creation carried them farther than any of their kind had ever gone. They knew the galaxy was watching. They knew fear was spreading. And that was exactly what they wanted. The council chamber trembled with whispers. Some still refused to believe. Some already planned war. And some understood the truth. Humanity had stepped into the galaxy not as prey, but as a predator no one was ready for. The rumor was only the beginning. The arrival, the desert world of Karen, was silent when the shadow appeared. The sun burned bright above its red sands, and the wind swept across stone ridges that had stood untouched for thousands of years. The planet had little value to the Galactic Council. It was a barren place used only as a refueling point for small fleets. But on that day, every eye in the galaxy turned to Karen because something impossible had come. The sky shimmered. At first, the guards stationed at the orbital base thought it was a storm, a heat wave rising against the horizon. Then the shimmer grew larger, brighter, and finally it tore apart the silence with a low vibration that shook the ground. Out of the distortion, a shape emerged. It was not sleek like the ships of the Empire. It was not fragile like the vessels of the smaller races. It was vast, a mountain of steel and dark armor that blocked out the sun. Engines burned with cold blue light, their hum echoing through the thin air. The human ship had arrived. On the orbital base, alarms screamed. Officers rushed to their stations. They tried to scan the vessel, but once again their systems failed. Data scrambled, numbers twisted into nonsense. All they could record was its size. Colossal, larger than anything humanity was ever supposed to build. The crew stared at their screens in disbelief, unable to answer the most basic question: how? From the surface, soldiers and workers looked up, shielding their eyes. The shadow stretched for miles, painting the desert in darkness. It was like a second moon had fallen from the sky, moving with deliberate grace. One worker whispered, his voice trembling, "That is no ship. That is a world." The Galactic Council's fleets were already waiting nearby, alerted by the earlier rumors. Dozens of warships shifted into position, surrounding Karen's orbit. Their commanders sent warnings, their voices proud but shaken. "Unidentified vessel, you are entering restricted space. Power down your engines and prepare for inspection." The human ship gave no answer. Its engines slowed, but it kept moving forward. It did not fire. It did not threaten. It simply passed through the blockade as if the alien fleet was made of shadows. The Council's ships opened fire, beams of energy flashing across the sky, missiles streaking through the void. The shot struck the human vessel and vanished. Some bounced off the surface without a sound. Others bent away as if the air itself had swallowed them. The ship continued unharmed. On the Council's flagship, panic spread. Officers shouted for more power, more weapons, more scans. But nothing worked. Their strongest systems could not even touch the vessel. It was as if they were firing at the sea with stones and the sea did not notice. Then, without warning, the human ship spoke. A deep voice echoed across every channel, every frequency. It was calm, almost gentle, but it carried strength that froze every listener. "We are humanity. We come not to beg, not to kneel, but to stand among you. Do not test us again." The Council commanders fell silent. They stared at one another, their scales, fur, or crystal skin reflecting fear. They were rulers of thousands of systems, their fleets unmatched in size. Yet a single ship had passed through them as if they were nothing. On Karen's surface, people felt the ground vibrate as the ship drifted overhead. Its engines hummed like thunder, its shadow swallowing entire valleys. Children pointed at the sky, elders fell to their knees, and soldiers tightened their grips on their weapons, though they knew those weapons were useless. The human vessel did not land. It did not conquer. It simply hovered, letting the galaxy see its power. Back in the council chamber far away, rulers received live feeds of the event. Their faces hardened as the message repeated, "Do not test us again." Some argued it was arrogance. Others whispered it was destiny. The chamber filled with fear, but also with something new: respect. Among the smaller empires, whispers spread. If humans could build one ship like this, could they build more? If one vessel could walk through fleets untouched, what would happen if 100 appeared? What would happen if humanity was not asking for a place in the galaxy, but taking it? In the skies of Karan, the standoff lasted only minutes. Alien fleets did not fire again. They pulled back slowly, ashamed, their commanders unable to explain what had happened. The human ship remained still, glowing faintly in the sun. It was not here for war. It was here to show, to remind the galaxy that humans were no longer the weak newcomers at the edge of space. As night fell on the desert, the stars above glittered against the darkness. The human vessel lit its engines once more. Blue fire spilled across the horizon, brighter than the moon's. Slowly it lifted higher until it vanished into the void. Karen was silent again, but the silence was not the same. It was heavy, waiting, trembling with what had been revealed. Across the galaxy, the story spread faster than light. People in great cities and forgotten outposts repeated the same words. Humanity has a ship that should not exist. And in the hearts of the galactic rulers, a question echoed louder than ever before. If this was only one vessel, what else were the humans hiding? The test the Galactic Council could not remain silent after the arrival at Karen. Pride had been wounded. Fleets had been ignored. Weapons had failed. The rulers of great empires sat in their chambers, their voices filled with anger and fear. They argued through long nights, their words sharp as blades. Some demanded peace, claiming humanity's new ship was too powerful to challenge. Others demanded proof, refusing to believe a single vessel could break 1,000 years of balance. At last, they agreed. Humanity would be tested. The chosen fleet was legendary. It belonged to the Clore Dominion, a race known for their warships and their merciless skill. For centuries, they had crushed rebellions and silenced enemies. Their ships were sleek, fast, and armed with weapons that had torn apart entire moons. The Dominion commander swore before the Council, "We will break this human vessel. We will show it for what it is, an illusion." The human ship returned days later, appearing near the edge of a quiet system. It glided out of the dark like a mountain sliding across the stars. Waiting for it was the Dominion fleet, 100 ships forming a wall of steel and fire. Their engines burned, their weapons armed, their confidence sharp. The galaxy watched through hidden probes and long-range transmissions. Billions of eyes stared, waiting to see if humanity's legend would fall. The Dominion fired first. Beams of searing energy cut across the void, striking the human ship with enough force to split asteroids. Missiles streaked forward, their warheads glowing with destructive light. The sky lit up in colors of war. Yet when the fire cleared, the human vessel remained untouched. The blast slid away as if the ship wore a cloak of bending light. The missiles crumbled into dust before reaching the hull. The ship did not even shudder. A murmur spread through the council chambers. Was it true? Was the ship invincible? The Dominion commander growled and ordered a full assault. Every cannon roared. The fleet surrounded the vessel, drowning it in fire. The human ship finally responded. Not with panic, not with rage, but with a single flash. One beam of light burst from its side, silent and sharp, striking through the darkness. It did not explode. It did not kill. Instead, every Dominion ship it touched went dark. Engines silenced, weapons cold, lights fading into shadows. 100 ships drifting like corpses, disabled in an instant. The galaxy gasped. The human vessel spoke again, its voice echoing across every channel, calm, certain. "We do not seek your destruction. We seek your understanding. Do not raise your weapons again." Inside the powerless Dominion ships, crews panicked. They tried to restart their engines, but nothing answered. Their systems had been drained, silenced by a force no engineer could explain. One commander whispered, trembling, "It is as if they reached into the heart of our ships and closed their hands." The human vessel moved slowly through the disabled fleet, its shadow passing over the silent hulls. It did not fire again. It did not finish the kill. It simply showed mercy. Then it turned away, its engines glowing faintly blue, leaving the Dominion fleet drifting helpless in its wake. In the council chamber, silence pressed down like a heavy stone. The rulers stared at the footage, their arrogance shattered. Some whispered in awe, some whispered in fear. The truth could no longer be denied. Humanity had built something beyond comprehension. A ship that could break fleets with a single gesture, but one thought burned brighter than fear. If humans had one such ship, how many more could they create? On distant worlds, common people spoke a prophecy. They said the humans had hidden their strength, waiting for the right time to reveal it. Traders claimed they had seen human colonies working in silence, building in secret places. Soldiers told stories of Earth's stubborn past, how humans never yielded when pushed. Now it seemed those stories were alive again, but on a scale the galaxy had never known. The Dominion ships were eventually towed back by rescue fleets. Their commanders could not explain their defeat. They spoke of strange pulses, unknown energy, systems dying as though smothered by an invisible hand. Their shame was heavy and their empire grew silent. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion did not boast of their strength. Meanwhile, the human ship continued its silent journey. It did not celebrate. It did not demand tribute. It only left behind a single truth written across the stars. Humanity could no longer be ignored. The council fractured. Some rulers begged for negotiation. Others planned desperate measures, speaking of weapons hidden for emergencies. Weapons never before used. But deep in their hearts, many knew it would not matter. The humans had stepped beyond them. The galaxy waited for humanity's next move, and in the shadows of Earth, where no alien eyes could see, more ships were being prepared. Silent giants waiting to rise. The revelation the council chamber was no longer filled with arrogance. The rulers who once mocked humanity now sat in silence, their faces pale, their voices heavy with doubt. The footage of the Dominion fleet's defeat played again and again on the great hollow screens above them. 100 ships disabled by a single human strike, not destroyed, not burned, simply silenced. The galaxy had seen mercy, but mercy itself was terrifying. No one wanted to speak first. No one wanted to admit the truth. At last, the council leader, the ancient being of flowing light, raised his voice. We are no longer asking if the human ship exists. We must ask what it means. His words rippled across the chamber like cold water. As if answering that question, a transmission cut through every system in the galaxy. Screens lit up in starports and palaces and mining colonies and distant outposts. The face of a human appeared, calm and strong, dressed in simple dark uniform. His eyes were steady, his voice carried no anger, only weight. I am speaking for Earth, he said. For centuries you have looked upon us as weak, as slow, as unworthy of your notice. You saw only what we allowed you to see. While you mocked, while you ruled, we built. We studied. We endured. His words fell into every ear, alien and human alike. Across the galaxy, silence followed him. This ship you have witnessed is not stolen. It is not borrowed, it is ours. It is born of human minds, human hands, and human will. It carries within it something none of you dared to imagine. A power not taken from your empires, but created in silence and patience. We are not here to conquer. We are here to stand. The rulers in the chamber shifted uneasily. Some looked relieved, others more afraid than before. The human continued. You ask how we built it. You ask what power fuels it. We will answer only this. Our strength does not lie in resources or in numbers. It lies in our refusal to surrender. From our earliest days, we survived against storms, against beasts, against one another. Every trial forged us harder. Every defeat made us rise. And when we reached the stars, we carried that will with us. You thought we were behind you. In truth, we were moving on a path you could not follow. On a desert colony far away, a miner stared at the screen and whispered, They hid it. All this time, they hid it. The human's image leaned closer, his eyes burning. We have bent space. We have mastered the currents you call impossible. Our engines do not follow your gates, your maps, your rules. We walk where you cannot. We move as we wish. That is what you saw when your fleets failed to touch us. That is why your weapons turned to dust. Gasps spread across the chamber. Bending space. Such words were myth, a theory dismissed by scholars, a dream of ancient scientists. If the humans had truly achieved it, then every empire's power meant nothing. The human voice grew deeper, steady like iron. We do not demand your surrender. We demand your recognition. We are not prey. We are not children. We are not weak. If you raise your weapons against us, we will stop you. If you treat us as equals, we will share the stars with you. The choice is yours. The transmission ended. The screens went dark. The silence that followed was heavier than any roar of war. In the chamber, the council broke into chaos once more. Some rulers shouted for alliance. Others screamed for war, desperate to destroy humanity before it grew beyond control. But even as they argued, a truth settled like stone in every mind. Humanity had already changed the balance. No battle, no secret weapon could erase what the galaxy had seen. On the outer worlds, whispers spread faster than any command. Common people, workers, soldiers, slaves, they repeated the words. We are not prey. We are not children. We are not weak. Some spoke them with fear, others with hope. For many, it was the first time they looked at humanity not with dismissal but with belief. Far from the council's halls, The human ship drifted silently across the stars. Inside its walls, the crew stood proud. They had heard their envoy's words echo across the galaxy. They had seen fear in alien eyes. But they knew this was only the beginning. In hidden docks around Earth and its colonies, more vessels were rising. Giants of steel and silence, each shaped by hands that refused to quit, each carrying the same secret engine, the same power to bend space and silence fleets. Humanity had built in patience, but patience was over now. The revelation was not only about one ship. It was about what was coming next. The decision. The chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so divided. The rulers of 1,000 worlds sat in silence after the human transmission ended. The words echoed in their ears. We are not prey. We are not weak. The choice is yours. For generations, the galaxy had lived under the same order. The great empires ruled, the small ones obeyed, and humans were expected to stay at the edges, humble and fragile. But now that balance had shattered. A single human ship had walked through fleets, silenced weapons, and spoken words that shook every throne. The council leader rose slowly, his shimmering body trembling. His voice carried weight, but for the first time it carried fear. We face two paths. One is alliance. The other is war. If we choose wrongly, it may be the end of us all. No one spoke at first. Then the ruler of the Clor Dominion, humiliated by the defeat of his fleet, slammed his fist against the table. This is a trick. They are liars. They cannot build such ships alone. We must unite, gather our strongest fleets and crush them before it is too late. His voice was filled with fury, but behind it was the pain of shame. His words drew shouts of agreement from those who feared humanity's rise. Yet others were not so certain. A ruler with golden eyes, her voice soft but firm, leaned forward. You saw the Dominion fleet fall without blood. You saw the mercy in their strike. If they wanted war, it would have already begun. Humanity does not seek to destroy us. They seek to stand with us. We must not meet their hand with claws. The chamber roared with debate. Voices clashed. Threats were spoken. Promises of war and hope tangled together. Outside, across the galaxy, people waited. Traders, soldiers, workers, they all asked the same question. Would the rulers choose peace or drag the stars into fire? As the arguments raged, another image filled the chamber. It was not summoned by the council. It was not expected. The human ship had transmitted again live. Its massive shadow filled the sky above the council's homeworld. The ship had come closer. Gasps filled the chamber. Through the great windows above them, rulers could see the darkness stretching across their capital city. The human vessel hovered above towers and palaces, its engines glowing like frozen suns. No weapons fired, no armies landed. But its presence was enough. Every citizen below looked up in awe and terror as the shadow passed over them. A human voice filled the chamber, calm and cold. Your choice must be made now. We will not wait forever. The council leader trembled. His eyes swept across the rulers. You heard them. Speak your decision. The Dominion ruler shouted again, demanding war. Others begged for negotiation. A third group sat in silence, paralyzed by fear. The chamber was chaos. But then slowly something happened. One by one, rulers lowered their heads. Not in defeat, but in recognition. The weight of history pressed upon them. They saw what the galaxy already knew. Humanity had risen, and no war could erase that truth. Finally, the council leader turned to the great window. His voice was tired but steady. Humanity, we hear you. We will not strike. We will not deny. You will have your place among us. The human ship gave no reply. It simply drifted higher, its engines humming, its shadow pulling away from the city. It vanished into the night sky like a ghost, leaving behind silence and trembling hearts. In the streets below, citizens whispered. Some spoke of fear. Some spoke of hope. Many repeated the words they had heard. We are not weak. For the first time in memory, the galaxy looked upon humanity not as children, but as something greater. Far away on Earth, lights glowed across hidden shipyards. More vessels were rising, each one carrying the same power, the same quiet strength. Humanity had shown only the beginning. The galaxy had been warned. The decision was made. But in truth, the choice was only an illusion. Whether the council accepted them or not, humanity was already standing tall. The galaxy could no longer shape their destiny. That destiny belonged to humans alone. As the last echoes of the human ship faded, The council leader whispered words that no one wanted to hear, but all knew to be true. The age of our rule has ended. A new age has begun, an age of humanity. And so, the stars themselves seemed to shift, waiting for what would come next. The galaxy had thought humans were fragile, unworthy, too small to matter. But now every world, every throne, every fleet knew the truth. Humanity had arrived. Humanity would not kneel. Humanity would decide the future. The rumor had become reality. The arrival had shattered fleets. The test had proven power. The revelation had shaken rulers. And the decision, at last, had marked the dawn of something new. The galaxy would never be the same again.